We are in my 30-week pregnancy update. I'm sorry this is a little late, but life happens. So, what happened in my 30th week? My heart has been pounding. That's completely normal. No, my blood pressure is not skyrocketing. I don't have preeclampsia. Are you guys gonna get tired of me saying that? Because I'm tired of getting advice still. It's just a one-for-one. So it happened once in my second trimester that I was sitting on the couch and I felt like my heart was just like, I could feel my pulse in my throat. And it's because your body has something like 50% more blood than you did before. So your heart is working a lot harder. So I'll feel my pulse and sometimes it'll be a little bit faster, but it's never anything crazy and it's completely normal. If it concerns you, talk to your doctor about it. But my heart, I have experienced like this pound in my chest, and then it is kind of like, oh my gosh, this is crazy, and then it subsides. And that happened to me a couple times. It happened to me in my second trimester, and then it just happened recently, and I noticed that I feel like my heart's pumping a lot more blood. And my blood pressure was what was it? I mentioned it in the vlog. I don't even remember now what it was. 90 something over 60 something, where it normally is. So what happened in this week, my 30th week, we went to a car show on Saturday and I walked all day long. I was very active, and they say that when you're walking and you're active, you rock baby to sleep. So when you sit down and you're still is when baby will kind of wake up, and that's when you can feel him or her moving around a lot in your tummy. I've kept the same routine, but on Saturday I was just doing a lot. I can usually feel him around the same times, once in the morning and once at night, super active. What happened was, all day Saturday I moved around a lot, and Friday too I was pretty active. I try to relax some. I try not to be, it's really hot here, and I try to not be so ambitious, you know. I feel like once you start getting to the point where you're super pregnant, you should take it easy a little bit more. You're not carrying a normal body. It is a little bit more fragile, right? I'm not telling you you should be sedentary. I'm not saying you should be lazy, but you should take it easy sometimes, which I didn't really do on Saturday. So I had moved around so much. I remember sitting down on the couch. It was like 9:30 at night. That's when I normally felt him, and I didn't really feel him getting all that crazy. So I started to get worried. And I slept, and I don't know if he had kicked me all night long when I was sleeping, and I was just so tired I didn't wake up from it. But then all day on Sunday, we went to church, and I remember sitting in church I'm not being able to concentrate, and I was talking to my husband that I was worried that I hadn't felt him really kicking like he had, because it was, at that point in time, it was usually like 9:30 at night or 6:30 in the evening sometimes even, and then 10:30 in the morning. So you read things like, there is less room in there for him, so he may not be moving around as much because he's running out of space, but the power of his movements is more powerful because he is so much bigger. So though the movements may feel less, they are more intense when it actually happens because he's so much bigger and because he's running out of space. So I tried to attribute it to that. And I was praying about it all day because I'm a worrywart. I have really bad anxiety. And for those of you who are really worried, like I had felt him kick now and again, but I'm used to like these 15-20 minute sessions where he's going insane. So I had felt him kick one time, another time, so I knew he was up in there kicking, but I wanted that like kick fest that I'm so used to having. So on Sunday we went to my mom's after church, and I laid on her couch and I was waiting, and I felt him now and again, but it was nothing like, it just felt like he wasn't as active, so it was really worrying me. And then on Sunday night, it was finally about 9:30. Is that what my notes say? Oh, 8:50. Yeah, so almost 9 o'clock at night. I sat down on the couch. I drank something really cold, like a huge glass of really cold fluids, drank down, laid down, and that's when I started to feel him go insane again, which I was very thankful for. And since then, his time has kind of changed. That was in my 30 week, but the time has changed now that I'm in 31 weeks. He's not doing it at the same time. I don't know if it's because I was so active that weekend and I just kind of threw him off, and then he was sleeping when I was sleeping. I wasn't used to, you know, I was just expecting him at certain times, so I wasn't in tune to other times or what it was. But he did slow down for that day or so, which made me nervous. But I mean, if ever you feel like it's terrible, because they do tell you to feel 10 kicks in an hour, like twice a day, or at least that's what my doctor says. But if you are really worried, of course, go to your doctor and get a fetal monitoring. They'll test his heart rate and all that stuff. But because I did feel him sporadically, I wasn't super worried. I just really wanted that intense kick session. We had an appointment at the end of that week, and I was measuring right where I should be, and his heart rate was 150, and he had been kicking me all week long, so he's fine, and I'm fine. But it was just worrisome for me because I like to worry. That's just where I'm comfortable, I guess. So I haven't felt any hiccups. A lot of people ask me if I've felt him hiccuping in my stomach. No, I have not. I haven't even had Braxton Hicks. That's one thing I did talk to the doctor about too. I was like, everyone's telling me I should feel Braxton Hicks and all this. And she was like, well, sometimes people feel it if they're pretty dehydrated. Commonly is when they feel Braxton Hicks. So I tell them to drink a lot of water and stay hydrated, and the contractions will go away, or to change positions and the Braxton Hicks contractions will go away. But I am really well hydrated, so I don't know if that's why I just don't feel the Braxton Hicks contractions. And she told me, she was like, it's not always painful or cramping, it's just tightening of the stomach. And then, but anytime I push on my stomach, it's pretty, she told me my uterus is pretty soft, and I'm pushing and I feel pretty soft. I've never felt the super tight tummy happening or anything. Unless it's happening when I'm dead asleep, then I've not had any Braxton Hicks contractions. And I was like, am I behind? Shouldn't I feel that by now? And she told me that a lot of women just don't. So sometimes you just don't. I had a little swelling. The swelling went down. I was sitting in the beanbag in we have a little studio type nail polish room that my husband and I share for our hobbies down the hallway. If you watch my vlogs, you've seen it. But I like to spend time in there when he's playing piano. I'll sit on the beanbag and write letters back to people, or color in my coloring book, or anything, right? So I'm sitting in the beanbag, and I was there for quite a while, and I notice if I'm sitting in a certain position and I don't change positions, my toes will swell up. So that was one symptom.
You don't mind?
I don't mind. He's making music. So no hiccups, no Braxton Hicks. My foot did swell. My toes, anyway. You know how you curl your toes and they just feel real tight? So I did have some swelling in my dados. Dados de mis pies. That's probably so wrong. But anyhow, that's it for my 30-week pregnancy update. One thing I do is I eat things that I don't like, because I know that Josiah will eat what I eat, and I don't want him to be picky. I'm a little picky, so I try to taste things that I just don't like the taste of to get him to not have such a picky palate. I have no idea if it's gonna work, but that's what I've been doing. So I don't like cilantro, so I've been eating cilantro to try to get him to like cilantro. I eat beets even though I don't like beets. I eat snap peas. Things that I don't like, I'll eat a lot. And then I'll try to eat like a lot of garlic and onion and really strong flavors to try to wake up his palate. So my mom gave me this. I have no idea where she got it. You can Google this name and maybe it'll show up. But it's a really neat little fruit diffuser. A lot of times they'll have the diffuser in the center, but this is, you just unscrew the bottom and fill it with whatever. So I've been filling it with basil or lemon or mint and lime, and it's not because I have a problem drinking water. I like to cut up a little one in there to make it pretty. It's not because I have trouble drinking water, because some people hate the taste of water, which blows my mind because I don't think water had a taste, but some people really just don't like water. So these are good for those kinds of people if they can't drink a lot of water, but I drink a lot of water nonetheless. I'm just trying to get I'm just trying to put flavors in to make him active in there, like, ooh, what's this? Lemon. Like, that's what I picture happening when I drink. Lemony amniotic fluid. Along with things that are in this book, I like to read online and cross-reference a bunch of different things. And I was talking to my friend Jen, who is expecting her baby this July, her first baby. And we share a lot of the same opinions as far as like the invasiveness of prenatal care. Like, okay, one thing we were talking about is our cervical exams. I feel like cervical exams are completely unnecessary. In some cases, obviously they are, but in most cases, I don't believe they are. So a doctor will ask, I feel like no one challenges the doctor. I feel like everything is routine and no one questions anything, and I always want to know why. So I'm always Googling, why do we do that though? But why do they do this? So I do a lot of research and I ask things to my doctor all the time, like, why do they do cervical exams? If you get a cervical exam, you're like 35 weeks or whatever, and you're 1 centimeter dilated. That's one of the things they'll tell you is they're like, well, we like to see how dilated you are or effaced you are. That means nothing. You can be 4%, 5%, 50% effaced for weeks before you give birth. You can be 1 centimeter, 2 centimeters dilated for weeks before you give birth. Knowing how far dilated your cervix is tells you nothing, and I feel like it only gives you false hope as to how soon your pregnancy will be. Like, if you find out you're already 1 to 3 centimeters dilated and you're like, what? Then you could probably expect baby any minute now. It gets you hyped up, and then weeks and weeks and weeks go by, and you just start feeling defeated because you're like, but I'm dilated though, like, but your cervix tells you nothing. It is so unpredictable. You can be 0% effaced, 0 dilation, your cervix can be completely closed, and then the next day you could pop out the kid. So I feel like cervical exams are completely unnecessary, and all they do is cause cervical bleeding, premature cramping. That's when a lot of times the doctor will do a membrane sweep, which I completely disagree with, and is actually proven, the medical research on it has shown nothing in regards to getting labor going. It's actually just a really horrible thing to do. Don't let anybody sweep your membranes. Read your own research. You may choose that you want to have somebody sweep your membranes, but I do not. Please read the medical research about it, not some one-sided weird blog. Get the facts. So I just would rather no one go in my hoo-ha. And it's not because I'm embarrassed or it's uncomfortable. Like, I have no problem. I've never had a problem. I'm not shy when it comes to like doctors or anything. I don't care. But what I do care about, I'm more protective now that I'm pregnant, because you're more susceptible to infections, like the tools they put up in there to see what's going on, and the more people mess with you in there, it's just unnecessary. So I like to challenge everything that they do, and that's why I do so much research and I question so much, because I don't understand why 100 years ago women were giving birth at much safer rates, honestly, than they are now. And I look at what we're doing now that has caused America to have the maternal death rates that they have, which is scary, because it has something like tripled in the last decade, or doubled or tripled in the last decade or two. I think it's tripled in the last 2 decades, I think is what it is. And I'm just like, why is that happening though? So that's why I research. And it's because we're so much more invasive and there are so many more interventions. So I challenge all of those, because I feel like the evidence has obviously shown that they're not beneficial. Much like the baby being in distress, but I can talk about that in my 31 week, because I already gave you a spiel about how I feel about cervical exams. So I'll talk about fetal heart monitoring during labor in my next vid. But challenge things, read things, question things, do your research. Let's dive into this a little. One thing I do like in this book is, I mentioned it in my last pregnancy update, it tells the husband or whoever's with, in my case my husband, so I'm just going to use my husband as an example, of things that he should and shouldn't do when you're having a contraction. Like, don't ask you things right in the middle of your contraction. Make sure the room is cleared of everybody's chatter or whatever, or however the mom wants it. Make sure your birth partner enforces that so that you can just relax. Like, it shouldn't be up to you to regulate people. You should be able to focus on giving birth and leave that to your birth partner to regulate, right? But here, in an instance where the laboring mother is unable to concentrate, the contractions have gotten so bad, she's at a loss for what to do, her rituals aren't working, she can't meditate, she can't relax. These are things that they suggest the husband do when his wife is acting like she just can't go on. It's called the take charge routine. So it tells him obviously to stay calm, to stay close, to anchor her, like hold her hands and confidently and like don't show the fear. Like if she's freaking out and then you freak out, you need one person to be the anchor. So that's kind of what they're saying here is, if she's like, I can't do this, it hurts so much, just be firm, be confident, be calm, be like, I believe in you. And sometimes in that moment, that's all mom needs. So there's a lot of good things in here, talking to the husband about what he should do if his wife is in despair. Get her to look at you. Talk to her in between contractions. Make suggestions like, with the next one, let me help you more. I want you to look at me. You're doing so well. We're really moving now. Just positive things that you can tell her in between contractions so that she knows that you're there trying with her and it's not all on her, you know? That's why I think this part is so special when he says, with the next one, let me help you more. So it's not to say that in the next one, try harder. He kind of puts pressure on himself, like, so that she doesn't feel like she's in this alone. You know what I mean? Just the way that they word things in this book, I really, really do like it. And that's what, that's in chapter 5 of this book that I really, really do recommend. I love it. So I'll share more from this book in my next pregnancy update, because out of all of the things in my pregnancy I recommend getting, it's this. Or whatever kind of literature you like to read. I just really believe in reading. And I will see you again for my 31-week pregnancy update. That will be up on time, I hope. Because this one's late. Okay?